VR horror? No, thank you. Nah. Shoulder pain right now. Neck, shoulder pain. Playing VR just gonna make it worse, I think. I was thinking about trying Source of Madness earlier, but I'm not too sure if I want to try it right now. The side-scrolling.
We all know that fear, the most primordial fear of them all.
Yeah.
The fear.
Try Prey. We already played it. Wait, were you a viewer when I played Prey on stream? I played it on stream. I dropped it after like 3 streams because I don't like the sneaking system. It like the game forces me to sneak around rather than just gun blazing, and it getting frustrating to the point where I just don't want to play the game anymore. It's not a bad game. It's just not a game for me, unfortunately.
We are right to fear it. Behind that veil of the known.
Okay, this game looks like it's gonna hurt my eyes. Maybe not now,
Join the cult.
but I'm down to give this one a try.
Collect that elder
It's like
blood.
side-scrolling Bloodborne in terms of like art style.
Knowledge. For ancient light. Demand.
Looks like they're using 2D life for the animation. Or something like that. It's a bunch of 2D art
Find the source of
that's just being shifted around.
stop
Life 2D, not 2D life.
what is to come.
I'm a big fan of the art style. That's the reason why I want to play this game. So cool. It's HP Lovecraft shit. Neo, I bought Neo 2, but I haven't downloaded yet. Dude, the game is fucking huge, man. 76 gigabyte. I feel like I'm gonna play this game once I'm committed to it. As in right now, not really. It's, you know, big file. I want to make sure I committed to it. Do you finish Neo 1? Nope. My friend said it's good, but it's not worth the time-ish if you're not a big fan of it. Like, might as well just play Neo 2. It's not really necessary to play Neo 1. Because the game is so fucking long, apparently. Literally everyone who played both games said that. Like, you don't need to play Neo 1 to enjoy Neo 2. Look at that. Main story. It's not even completionist or extra. 35 hours. I'm not gonna finish this game. I'm not gonna finish this game. You guys know me. You guys know me, chat. If a game above 20 hours, I have to really, really, really like it. And with Neo, I'm okay. No, yeah, it is still fun. Like my fellow Dark Souls friend NK also told me, Neo 1 is enjoyable, but if you already own a Neo 2, it's just a better version of Neo 1, basically, an improved version. And I don't really care about the story, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Neo 1 story is very boring. Like it's cool, but after like get to the fucking second boss or third boss, it's getting a little bit meh. Like I don't really care about fucking William's story that much. Judging? What do you mean? Listen, if the game requires me to finish more than 20 hours, I will drop the game if it's not worth my time for 35 hours. Dude, I dropped Red Dead Redemption 2. All right, my standard in long ass game is really specific. Red Dead is such a good fucking game, almost flawless in my opinion, and I dropped it. So when I drop a game, it does not mean that I don't like it. I just really nitpicky with long game because I want to enjoy as much game as possible while still you know, stream it. I don't like getting stuck with one game for multiple days because I feel like you know, I don't know. I don't like it for some reason. The only exception is like Elden Ring, obviously, or competitive game because it doesn't have an ending. Elden Ring is an exception because I just love Souls game, and Elden Ring is a Miyazaki game. It's a no-brainer. I mean, red brain. It's called preferences. And I know most people can finish like a lot of game, but I'm ever since ever since I get a full-time job, I respect my time a lot more with choosing game because I can only enjoy a game uh on, after work, and I'm very nitpicky when it comes to gaming. So I don't want to waste my time on a game that I will not enjoy. Now, I would imagine if I became a full-time streamer and I don't have a full-time job and just like focus on streaming, I can see myself finishing Red Dead Redemption. I can see myself finishing Neo because I don't have to worry about, oh, I'm gonna get stuck in Neo for like 2 weeks. Like yeah, that's how I that's how I put it. I don't know, man. Blame my fucking 9 to 5 job. 9 to 5, more like 9 to 9. Help. All right. Tin Can, Shotgun King, 10 minutes still down. Whoa! Neptunia X Senran Kagura? Ah. Probably not gonna play it on stream. What? AU then not a oh, that's a hentai game. Okay. Alright, what is this game? Is it a space sim? Oh, this is way too dank. Mm. This actually looks fun.
This is Rescue Unit 42. We're on our way. Hang in there.
Kind of interested. I do like me some space related shit. Oh, there's a demo. Is it big? 4 gigs. Okay. I literally cannot recall a single event in Neo. I mean, it's not a bad plot line, but I feel like it's just so absurd that you really have to get into it to really enjoy the story. I get the gist of it, like William was like some kind of a agent, and it's like trying to sneak into this fucking enemy. I don't fucking know, and he got saved by the spirit and go to Japan and what? I don't know. There's just too many things going on. But then again, I didn't finish it. I just lost interest in the middle. I can say the same about Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 story is boring. If you're not a fan of depressing, what do you call it? Dark fantasy. That's why I don't really recommend Dark Souls 1 to a lot of people, is because the storyline is very... There are two types of people who like Dark Souls 1. There's type of people that just don't care about the story and just want to play it for the PvP, or just like, you know, they like Souls game. Like, if you like Souls game, you're gonna love Dark Souls, and just for the gameplay. Like, for example, Selkuth. Dude fucking eats anything when it comes to Dark Souls, and he enjoys it more about the gameplay, and he appreciated the story for later on. I fell in love with dark fantasy. I love that gloomy, dark, you know, everything is dying kind of setting, and then you're like that glimpse of hope in this very dark-ish timeline. I love that setting. That's why Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne is such a contrast in those settings. I think it's called dark fantasy. So it's like everyone just like, we're going to die. Oh, and then you're like that glimpse of hope that's trying to save everyone around. It's cool. It's a cool setting. I love it. That's a reason why I really love Dark Souls 1 compared to 2 and 3. Although 2 and 3 is also kind of dark fantasy, but Dark Souls 1 is arguably the most depressing one. So many NPC dying for a really shitty reason. But it's all about determination. I want to drop some of my favorite games within 5 hours, but kept pushing long enough to see what makes it fun. You just refuse to keep going. I mean, like I said, I usually don't really think twice when it comes to that, because, you know, I don't really have a lot of time with streaming and gaming because of work. So I tend to be a little bit more picky, because I want to make sure I kept in touch with a lot of games that I interested, rather than, you know, stay with one game for like 2 weeks, trying to play as much game as possible. Because in the end, I'm a fucking variety streamer. I'm not a VALORANT streamer. I'm not a Elden Ring streamer. You know? I want to keep it fresh here. Okay. Next one. Now, like I said, I always say this because I'm a streamer. If I don't stream, it's probably going to be different. It's probably going to be completely different. But I'm here to play games for me, but also try to entertain people. If I just play for myself, I'm gonna fucking stream Valorant. But that shit's boring as fuck. Like, if I don't care about you guys in the chat, I'm gonna play Valorant all fucking day. And that's probably boring as fuck, alright? I love playing Valorant, but watching Valorant is fucking boring as a non-Valorant player. So you guys should be grateful, okay? Because I am here to entertain you guys. Not just for my own sake, but also everyone in the chat. So yeah.
The Black King had been quite jacked, and other to the white side had gone allies subjects. Before leaving, a black bishop
What the fuck is going on?
Told him his wrath would
It's a
be
chest with a shotgun?
But the king knew his undoing had
Huh?
already begun. Indeed, all he had left was his royal shotgun. But the shotgun game's reign is still holly, and in his dark folly, no need to pry. Bits of white pieces will fly.
What the fuck? Okay, I don't know about this game. I don't play chess, I don't know. Yeah, I'm good. I watch a lot of funny Valorant streamer. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's the thing though. When I play Valorant, I'm a different person. What you guys see here right now is the chill, fun looking, like I'm just here to chill out with people talking about stuff and gaming and have fun. When I play Valorant or CSGO or Rainbow Six Siege, I am gonna fuck you up in the ass. Not literally, but you know, I am, you know, I can, like, you can ask my friends. When I play Valorant, I scream on top of my lung. I'm a completely different person when I play those kind of games, and I don't like it. I don't like to stream that side of me. A little bit. It's a little bit. I'm a little bit ragey when it comes to competitive game. Not like I don't trash talk people for the sake of making them down, but I trash talk just for the sake of letting it out, and it's loud. And most of the time, it's not fun time. It's just me like sweating, and that's not really what I want to showcase on stream. I'm here to have fun and to, you know, people come to my stream so they can have a good time. Yeah, that's my aim with the raddtrap, not not the other one. So yeah. Ooh. This kind of reminds me of Vampire. I think it is kind of like that Vampire game, but more, but different. A little bit more technical. I think it has its own niche, and you can actually aim. It's alright. I'm not really a fan. Every time I see someone stream Apex or PUBG, I get so bored I just couldn't watch it even if it was my girlfriend. What the fuck? Well, I think in your case it's a little bit different because you just don't like competitive game in general. For competitive game, I enjoy those game if one, I watch the streamer outside of those competitive game. So if I watch like Lyric or Forsen play Apex or PUBG, then I enjoy it. Or second, for learning purposes. So I usually watch a pro player play Apex to learn the technique. I'm not there to have fun. I'm actually there to, well, kind of having fun, but at the same time also learning from them. So it's a little bit different, the purpose. Your Apex is entertaining, a lot of screams. My Apex is different though, because I don't play Apex for the rank. That's why I don't play ranked in Apex, because I'm there to actually genuinely have fun. I don't care if I win or lose. I'm just there to kill. Different from Valorant. In Valorant, I am there to win, baby. I don't give a shit. If I don't win, I'm not gonna have fun. That's the problem. In Apex, I play casual. That's why it's fun. Because I don't give a shit. Competitive game can be fun if you don't care about your rank. That's the thing. If you care about your rank too much, that's why you have Tyler 1. But that can be entertaining as well. I'm not saying that it's not fun. That can be entertaining as well. Oh, it's that kind of game. I don't know about the gameplay. I like this kind of game, but the gameplay seems eh. Yeah, I'm not. I do like some rhythm game-ish like this, but the top-down thing is nah. That's meh. It's kind of meh. Oh my god, sorry. Okay, that's it. Damn, there's really not much going on Steam, huh? Oh yeah, V Rising. Is this game releasing soon? I want to check this game out. May 17th. Oh shit. Next week. What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, I wanna check this game out. This looks fun. It's also from the creator of I forget the name of the game. But you guys know probably. He's not really rich for game. Yeah, that's true. Next month's gonna be crazy. June, July. June, July, and then September, October is gonna be crazy as well, and then the end of the year. A holiday. Hmm. Whoa! Crush, crush, wing, wing. I don't know what to play, man. Blah, 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 blah. One sec. I like competitive games when they aren't copy paste. Destiny powers, battlefield vehicles, EDC are what we need more of. Uh, I don't know. I don't consider Destiny and Battlefield competitive games. Because, sure, they are PvP and sure, you're competing with other players, but there's just too much RNG-ness going on in those games that makes it really hard to appreciate your skill, your technical skills. Like, for example, in Battlefields, it's just way too many players for a competitive game. So that's just outright outing it. And Destiny 2 have a very bad issue with balancing because they're trying to make PvP and PvE one flow instead of separating it. So they need when they balancing something in PvE, it also affects in PvP, and that makes the PvP side of Destiny is just very meh. Like I try to get into it, it's just not that. It's not that good. That's why games like Valorant works. Uh, it's basically CS:GO with skills, but the skill set is not too much of a randomness. It's basically like Dota. It's like something can be countered by something very straightforward. No randomness, no nothing. So everything is calculated. And I like that because, that means everything is fair. There's nothing like luck or anything. Everything is fair. Everything calculated is good when it comes to competitive game. That's why CS:GO lasts for so long. You know? Splitgate's Portal are cool, but more of a gimmick rather than a game changer. You still just run and shoot. That's true. That's why Splitgate is not that big either. But it's fun. You know? Destiny 2 PvP is a streaming pile of shit. Streaming pile of shit. Destiny 1 is a good one. Well, I have no comment on that one because I never played Destiny 1. So, no comment. Oh my god. I need a lot of water today. Whew. I do need to. Oh my god, that's a fucking hentai. Okay, VR Kanojo. Oh my god. Okay. I don't want to go back to VR games. I'm not gonna lie. I just fucking hate motion sickness, man. Like I want to finish Blood what's it called? Boneworks so bad. Like I was actually enjoying this game, but my god, my motion sickness dog shit with this game. I want to play this game so bad. Like I really do. I genuinely would love to finish this. But fuck. 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours, I will start sweating. Like literally. Because I'm starting to get motion sickness. That fucking sucks. mm, there's Cooking Simulator. Could try that sometimes. What other good VR games out there, chat? That I need to try it out. I feel like there's not a lot. Blade Sorcery also like kind of sandboxy. Like it's fun for a bit. But I think that's it. After the Fall. Oh, it's the new game last time. Wait, Zenith on Steam? I didn't know it's on Steam. Actually, I haven't tried this game. Area Man lives. Oh, Heart Bullet. Nice. I probably, if we gotta do a VR game again, I'm probably gonna try this. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. A lot of people who played VR game really praise this game. Apparently, it's a gem. And then Into the Radius as well. This two game. A lot of people talk about this too. This one's a lot newer. This one's been a while. Or I guess just because, you know, Walking Dead's, you know, it's a big series. That's why a lot of people know about it. While Into the Radius is a brand new indie. Oh. Oh, wait. Early access? Oh, this is the second one? What the fuck? I didn't know there's a second webs. Skyrim VR? No thanks. No thank you. Thank you, what the fuck? What the fuck? Is Ice in the chat? So random, what the fuck? Okay. Check suggestion. It steals. We played this game. Wait, you weren't here? We played this game, dude. What do you mean? Were you not there when I played this? Oh no, you missed out some really good jump scares. I scream like a bitch in this game. Right? I'm pretty sure Onsen was there. Raku clip a lot as well in this game. This game is creepy as fuck, but also fun. I'll remember you playing No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. We played this. It was really fun. It was pretty short though. I actually finished the game. 1.6 hours, because after that there's also like extra levels. We played it for a little bit. It's actually pretty nice. But yeah, I wish it was longer. Beat the game in under 2 hours and I'm not refunding it. Same. They really should make this game a little bit longer. Actually, a really good game. I don't remember you playing No One Lives Under the Lighthouse. Yeah, I did play that. But I also played this. I played this on 2019 main. So it's like mid 2021. I don't know if you were there then. You're more than a year. You're probably not there. Fortunate. Unfortunately as well, there's no VOD of this because raddtrap.live was not a thing back then. So, I'm sorry, man. Visit raddtrap.live for unmuted VODs, by the way. Check it out, check it out. Links in the title. Well, actually, in the title, it's not that right now. Title is a different thing. It's a music cover of mine. Rad's gaming session, finding a game. True. I don't know what to play right now, but what to play, Yua? What to play? Any suggestions? Gators Daily. Huh?
It's like Fun Friday, you fucking losers. It's like Fun Friday.
Flat Fuck Friday, fucking losers. Flat Fuck Friday. Friday, fucking losers. This is a catchy. Flat Fuck Friday. So random though. What the fuck? Nice. Play a mobile game? No thanks. You updating Fortnite earlier? Yeah, but I don't know about playing Fortnite right now. If I'm gonna play BR right now, I'd rather play Vampire. I'm good with Fortnite right now. My fuck Friday. Oh my god, dude. I think my fucking back pain's fucking annoying me to the point that I just don't know what to do. If only Gara's got a PC right now. Jesus Christ. Okay, this PC gonna fucking melts me. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Wait, what? Is that Chuck Norris? It's Keanu! Ducks? Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator 2. It's so fucking over the top. I love it. But this game does deliver. The selling point of the game is actually deliver. Truly epic CPU melting game. When you play this game, you just hope that your PC does not fucking fry itself. Okay, we actually need to pick a game right now. Let me see. Da, 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 da. Hmm. What? Oh, wait. Okay, interesting. Blah. Let's play. Blah 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 blah. Dude, I actually don't know what to play. Maybe I should do like a schedule thing like those VTubers do to kind of fix me to what to play in a fucking week. You know what I mean? So I have to commit to those games for a week or so. I think I need to do that. You can try that sometimes. So like I have no choice to play but to play those games. I think we can do like the vampire game. At the same time I kind of want to try it out if it actually works on stream. Do you want to play the bomb ward game? Oh, those game? Oh shit. We could. We could. But right now I'm kind of like in a mood for like some action game. Oh, I forgot this game is a thing. Let me save this though. We should play this next time. Hold up. Let me just put it in the suggestion box so I can remember. Yeah, I missed this game. It's so dumb. Last time we did a party game like this is so fucking fun though. This we played. I forgot we played this and the drawing game, the Scribblio. That was fun. That was fun. But I'm gonna save that for next one when we chillin'. and I wanna do like a party game stuff. I thought about playing this and the newest Jackbox. Keep forgetting to do that. But next time I should probably announce if we're gonna do a party game, so you know we get a lot of people who gonna enjoy join the game. Yeah. But for now, let's actually give Vampire a try, if it actually works or not. Ba-da-da. Thank you though for the suggestions. Ba-da-ba-da-ba. Ba-da. Snack time. Mm. Mm. Yeah. That's why I said the game's playable for me now. Because I run it in DX11. I guess we're to the point where most games now run on DX12 on default. But what's the difference between DX11 and DX12 actually? I never did a research on that one. Oh shit, that was so good. Fuck.
I wish you a good evening.
Alright, are we gonna do trio? I kind of want to do solo. What's my level right now? 9, okay. We just need one more. For ranked. That's from what I noticed, it's related to the fog and DX9. Wait, does this game run in DX9? I don't think so. Like, what even is DX? I actually still don't understand what the fuck is DirectX in general. I never really did a research on that one. Was it like a GPU thingy? Is the solo queue actually dead? I guess a lot of people just play the trio, which kind of makes sense. I love how they just threw together this game while you wait for the real one so bad. You know what's funny though? The game's actually fun because of how agile you can get in this game. It's like Fortnite, but not boring. Like you can actually do wall run. You can do fucking, you know, I don't know, dude. You can do a lot of fucking agility shit. Oh, there's an in-game music. I need to turn that off. Ugh. It's hub. You can do quests here. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't really care with the quests. Jesus Christ. You're playing proof that PvP games takes minimal effort? I mean, if it's fun, don't change what's not broken, right? If it takes minimal effort but works, then keep it that way. You know? That's why CS:GO is a thing after a decade. You know? If it's not broken, don't change it. It's as simple as that. You want innovation? Put in within what works. Apply to it. That's why this game have its own thing, which is the parkour system in the BR. There's no other BR like this. But at the same time, it's not the best either. Like, in my opinion, Apex is still the best Battle Royale. In terms of, like, competitive. It's so fucking loud, holy shit. What the fuck? 0.2? Okay, let me turn off the music. There we go. Okay, my FPS is still dog shit. Let me close up some stuff. Maybe it'll help. It's 100% on the GPU? Holy shit. Play melee? I'm gonna play melee, don't worry. If you pick them, you can see red icons on the map, not those. I don't see quests on yours. Oh, I did some of the quests before. If you're talking about the quests. Why am I? Oh, motherfucker. Toggler, fine. There's nobody around. Team Fortress 2, simple but loved. True, true. It's just that Team Fortress 2 suffers what the same thing as CS:GO is getting the Dota 2 treatment. If the game does not make as much money as Dota, you're not gonna get updates. That's just Valve rule. That's why I stopped playing CS:GO. As much as I love the game, it doesn't get any updates anymore. And it fucking sucks. So I love the game, but it's just not worth it. When it sucks when you play a game that you know the developers not really care about. You know, because you're risking committing to a game that's eventually gonna die, or just gonna get boring. And that shucks. I think I need to cap this game in 60 FPS to make it playable. Okay, I thought I saw someone. Starting to hate the fucking... Okay, I think we're good with weapon. Let's get more buffs. Missing resonance slot? What the fuck does that mean? Isn't this highly security? What the fuck? Where is the security? Okay. Fine now. Ooh, purple toggler. I'll take that. That's partially why I prefer single player. If I have to depend on updates to have fun, it's not a good game by my standards. Fair enough. It's definitely fair. Let me use this. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Sorry boys, I'm out. Hold up. Just so that the game don't look fucking shit on stream, I'ma cap it on 60. Here, bitch. Where you at, huh? What were you doing? What were you doing? Fucking bitch. Okay. But it's not my fight. Shush! If you melee mid-air, you boost a little bit? Huh? I didn't know that. What do you mean? Oh, someone's close. Oh, you immune piece of shit. Oh, you. The immune bullshit, man. I fucking messed up there. Gotta get him there. Where's my dead body? Such a karma, huh? Karma's a bitch, motherfucker. Eat ass. Pussy. Look at Elden Ring, 320 hours in, still awesome. Well, yeah, obviously. No one can argue with that. Mother! Hiya! Hoy! Up! Up! What are you doing? I'm dropping FPS. Shit. What is going? What is going on? Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm missing my shots. Ooh. Dude, this SMG is so fucking bad. I didn't get that fuck out of here. There's so many people. This is not a good spot. I need a kill steal. Pull up. Extra health. my god, I was like, where the fuck did he go? Oh, he's dead. I don't know about SMG. I should probably change it. Sometimes SMG is just like, I don't know. It's so weird. The recoil is just all over the fucking place. I wish I have a fucking sniper right now. Oops. Ay, 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 wait. Get your own fight, man. Okay. Oop. Hoopla. Oh, fuck. That was close. GG. Alright, get the fuck out. Oh, come on. Shit, shit, shit. Oh god, this is not good. Oh god. Come on. No. This is such a shit circle. Ah, god damn it. Unlucky. You healing by the way when melee? I didn't know that. The fuck? Oh, my frame is dog shit here. You piece of shit. Okay. I pressed 3 to change to melee, but I didn't change for some reason. Ah! Wait, what? Why am I not leaving? Oh, I have to manually leave? I thought you'd do it. I thought the game do it for you. Not bad for a first game. Should probably try other characters. This character is really hard to escape with. Let's try the other escaper, the Muse. Gara told me is a good one.
Look at you.
Da, 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 da. Wait, how do you... Oh yeah, you choose in-game. Yeah. Okay, and this one doesn't look that... The characters looks different. They have sets of hair for a set of different heads for different characters, or different class, I guess. Whoa! At least the wardrobe is the same, which is good because I really like this outfit. Saboteur. What is Saboteur? Vanish. Oh, this one, I don't really like it. The bomb one, not really my thing. This one I like. It's a little bit more solo-ish in terms of like play. Wait, I forgot a cue. Alright, let's try this. How's the frame rate, by the way, chat? Not sure if it's good or not. Looks kind of inconsistent, I think. At some point, I noticed the frame's a little bit jittery. Looks okay? Okay. The game's pretty demanding, not gonna lie. When you're in a pretty packing spot, my FPS does drop below 60. But when it's not, it's actually pretty smooth. So optimization is a little bit all over the place. Unfortunately. It's too chill. Well, let's do a little bit more hacking song. Yeah, my GPU is pushing it to the limit with this game. My GPU is like, ah, help, help. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Fuck, man. Yep, man. It's tied in here, man. I'm pretty sure this game would be good if, like, when I play it off stream, it's good. Is OBS taking like 40% of the GPU space for this game? Well, not for this game, like, in general. And this game's already a little bit demanding. It would be a real shame if it goes up in flames. No, it's not gonna. It's not that bad, alright? I have 1060, not 560 or something. Okay. Alright, stop mocking my PC, man. The fuck up. Ooh, it's a sniper. Ah, it's a fucking marksman. I'll take the Tommy gun any day. It's actually a shitty spot. But whatever, we're already committed. Oh, hello. Who's there? Wait, is this... The spike bombs mean someone's close. Someone's close to me, right? I'm hearing things, but I don't see anyone. Oh, this song's so fucking bangers. Hello. Let's get some kills to get some XP. Come on. Could've given me some fucking weapon here. come on. No, no, no. Why did he keep going for me? When you're low, heal up, man. He could have survived me there. He just healed up first. Oops. Almost dead. I gotta change. Okay, pussy. Alright, man. Alright, fight him! No! Fuck. Alright then. Alright, bitch, come here. This is called karma. Okay? Next time, do not entrap. It's not nice. Did she finish the other guy? I'm not too sure. It's a little bit scary. Pick up the katana! Okay, thank you. God damn, the fucking picking up system's fucking shit. Okay, Mr. Trap. That's my name. Wait. Oh, fuck. I'm not... I'm using a different agent right now. Ooh, the shotgun hurts! The shotgun really hurts. Nice, right? No! You piece of shit! How do you do that? Tell me your secret, you fucker. Come here! He doesn't know I'm a fucking muse, you fuckface. Just so you guys know, I win there because I'm a muse. I respawn faster. Oh shit. Is he gonna go left side? He is. Oh my god. I shouldn't aim down sight there. Fuck! I fucked up my aim there. I deserve that. Katana can deflect? Yeah. I know. I rarely use them though. I don't know. I should probably. Am I level 10 yet? Okay, you cannot go back? Okay, man. Fair enough, fair enough.
Good morning.
I'm not. God damn. How do you see your like your character shit? I don't think you can. Find a biography. I guess we can try to find a fucking quest thingy. See what? Like your character page. Not character, your profile. Like XP, kill, win rate, all that shit. Is that a thing in this game? This must be our half, right? Profile, stats. I want to see stats. Shitty song. Okay, can I change it right now? Yeah. Sorry. It's kind of there. What is it called in this game? I didn't see it. Oh, hold up. Let me refill my water real quick. I'm back. What are these songs? Oh, Horus. There we go. Finally a good fucking song. No! There's an easy win there. I ran out of ammo. Oh, I'm gonna fuck you up real bad. How do I know where did I die? Oh, it doesn't really tell you, huh? That kind of sucks. I'm gonna go for that guy. Ooh, my frame's going downhill in this area. Graveyard? Ah, shit. Well, it's his lucky day. Can I ping? Okay, there you go. Where did he go? Oh. Whoop. What is going on? This place is so fucking weird. Where are you shooting at? Oh, he's just fighting someone else. Unlucky. Up, 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 up. Oh, come on! How many fucking people are there? Jesus! Give me a fucking break. I killed like 3. Well, 2. I downed 1 more. God damn it, man. This is why I'm not a big fan of the solo. There's a little bit shit show in this game. Oh, did I level up? Maybe let's just queue in 3-0. I had a match with 10 people at one place. Kinda wanna do the fuck. Oh, we can do rank now. Let's do E. There we go. I had a match with 10 people in one place. That was crazy. Yeah, you don't want to go for finishing real too fast in this game. People can fucking sneak up on you way too fucking easy. Your icon achievement page. Achievement. My icon achievement page? There's no achievement here. Achievement challenges? No. Quest? Mastery? Oh, this? Nah, this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking like an actual stats stuff. Although I can understand why you said kinda. Which is, yeah, it is kind of a stats, but not really. Why do they only have solo for ranked? That's kind of dumb. If anything, trio and duo should have. It's not really a solo-based game, in my opinion. Oh, I don't think a lot of people play the solo ranked. "20 kills bomb in one match." How do you switch it? See? And I also watch Shroud play. It's only solo. There's no other else for anything else for ranked. He also complained about it. Why is it only solo for ranked? Yeah, no one played the solo ranked. Shit. This is trios. That's a shame. I was actually interested to try out the rank system. I was surprised you played this game a lot. I mean, it's kind of a fresh take of a battle royale. It's not your usual, you know, because of the verticality of the game. It's kind of like you kind of aim for a new angle in this game. It's not just behind a wall or behind a rock. It's like on top of the roof, people while running. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. The angle is a little bit fresh compared to other Battle Royale. Like the rooftop fights, very weird. And I guess that's why it's kind of fun. Da, 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 da. Yo, hello. Okay. What's my keybind for? Have I not set it up? Hello, 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 Tess. Hello, hello, Tess. Okay. I don't know what's my keybind for the thingy thing. Tore a door. This is such a shitty spot. What? God damn it. Hold up. Voice chat. Voice chat. Voice push to talk. Ping enemy? I guess just do that. Should probably rebind some of my healing item. I'm still using the classic 4 to 6. It's kind of annoying actually. But I'm too lazy to rebind it. I didn't mean to press that. But okay. That's a human. Help! Team, I need help. I'm about to die. Help, team. Ah! Fuck. Okay. I'm about to switch to a new game. Report for what? I'm the one that got separated. What? No way. Did he just drown? Did he? Okay. Alright. One more try. And I'm out. What the fuck? Okay then. Good game. You know what? At least you guys find this entertaining. You fucks. Ah. It's fucking Battle Royale. Bam! I do love me some abandoned mall. Are they AFK? I think they're AFK. Another Muse user? Oh, thank you. I respect that. You switched for me. Didn't need to. I didn't mind, but okay. What a nice guy. Still trying to get used to this fucking TP. Oops. Thank you. Thank you very much. Should probably lower the music. Hold up. Alright, that's enough. Audio is pretty fucking meh in this game. Really cannot listen to music in this game usually. Wait, they're fighting? Okay. No, they're already fighting. Nah. I'm coming, boys! Yo, back up, I'm coming. Are you shitting my ass? Fuck me, dude. Too low. Enigma, dude. Too low, bro. Were you fighting? Oh, okay. GG. Damn. I low both of them. And this dude's just like minding his own business. Alright, no toxic, no toxic. Nice. Good shit. Finish? Okay. Alright. We're still in the game. No worries. I wish the fucking whoom sound can be lowered. It's so fucking loud. I don't know. Okay, you just take everything, alright. I need something. Is that an enemy? Motherfucker. I need help! I need help! Alright. Alright, this is interesting. Oh no, whole team. Alright, we're done. So, oh. Who? No, are you kidding me, dude? Another one more? Man. Ah, it's always like that. Oh, they got third party. No, please, sir, please. I'm almost. No! Someone! Yes! No, no, please don't kill me. Oh shit. How did I keep getting away with this? Oh, he sees me. No, fuck. You know what? I got away way too fucking lucky. How? What is he doing, by the way? He saw me dead? Was he just hiding? Oh my god. Oh no. You switch to melee. See, things runs faster, single player. Unlucky. That's right. Alright, I'm the one who needs to carry this team. Alright? I'm responsible. I'm sorry. What's up, by the way, K? Lord K! How you doing? Welcome to this stream. Sick man playing sick game. Haha, double meaning. Let's go. I need help. What's up, what's up? I see you also play this game, since you also know the keybinds and shit. Yo, let's listen to the MCR new song. By the way, chat, links in the title. I made a new guitar cover of My Chemical Romance new fucking song, The Foundation of Decay. It's an absolute banger song, by the way. But yeah, links in the title, check it out. Subscribe to my YouTube while you're there. Working on making a YouTube channel, like gaming and vlog channel. Ooh, shit. That's cool. Yup. Okay, cannot fucking land there. Okay, fair enough. Also, there's the rendering. I think rendering and encoding is a pain in the ass. Yeah. It is. It's part of it, part of the process. Music's too loud. Okay, alright. I hate this trio play, man. This always happens. Yeah, I'm about to switch, chat. It's not fun. I need Gara. My baby. Thank you. Did we kill him? Fuck him up, fuck him up. Oh my god, this pistol sucks ass! Yo, on me! On me! What the fuck? How did he get a purple knife already? Oh no, did you guys see the other guy? I think he got bugged. Oh no. Really not fun. It's fun watching you die. Because you do not fight them and was far from team. I mean, I don't know. I usually win if there's Gara with me. What a nice teammate. Basically, I need to record my video and then
Open the door, or I'm gonna throw rocks through your windows.
Okay, got cut off. Anonymous with a gifted sub to Neinsburn. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And enjoy the gift subs. Mary. Thank you, thank you. Tuskaru. Basically I need to record my video and then encoding them overnight. Yeah, that's usually how it is with that. So, yeah. I wish I do have a lot more time to do YouTube. Because editing video from stream is actually fun process, but it takes so much time if you stream and edit your own video. Like, I have to sacrifice free time to do it. A lot of them. So I kind of like, I'd rather just study drawings or play my guitar rather than the YouTube stuff most of the time. Maybe in the future if I get more free time. Maybe, maybe. Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't fucking know. Hello, how's the game? What's up, Kendo? Just chillin', just chillin'. Just doing aight. How you doing? How you doing? Alright, I got a feeling we're gonna win this one. Not much loot here. Ah, there we go. Take it, man. Take it. I'm not sure if it's worth it to fucking hunt for these guys. Oh my god. Is that another player? Oh my god, I forgot the burst! One hit, one hit, one hit. Nice. Might want to finish him up. Coming, coming. You miss everything. Oh no. No! Come on. I actually don't know how efficient the Gatling gun is. But he miss everything, man. Unlucky. Did you tag the old lady? Don't worry, it's part of the game. Friday the 13th. Oh yeah, it is Friday the 13th. Oh, it's for the quest. I see. That's what Battle Royale are. True, true. Don't forget to put perks. There's a perks in this game? Where? I did not even know. Wait a minute. Okay, okay. MCR is not really fitting with the song. Go with this game. Let's go back to Edge of the World. What the fuck did the third guy DC? Character menu during hub? Okay. I'm gonna do the next one. If I remember. Play some dark techno? Yeah, I could. I'm kinda in the mood of like something a little bit hyper. Like this song. How do you do the... What the fuck? Oh well, we were split up. Oh. He got armor. My ear, dude. Oh, that was not good. No, misclick. Come on. Ah, Shiba. How did I kill the human there? I'm gonna get killed. Help. Ooh. Oh no. $40. Let me take the shotgun instead. Ooh. No! I clicked the wrong skill again. Good shit, good shit. I'm coming to you. Never mind. Run, run, run! Ooh. This dude got experience. He got his level of 30. I'm not even gonna question him. After slight jump. So as you jump. I gotta practice it. Hold up. Song's a little bit too loud. What I hate about this game is that one thing that I hate is the fucking gun sound and the finishing sounds loud as fuck compared to the footstep. Like, it's not even funny how loud it is. Extremely loud. Oh wait, what? I didn't see that. It's one thing that I don't really like about this game. And it's annoying as fuck. I want to be earlier than that. Two. Yeah, you want to shoot or not? You shoot, I shoot. Someone behind? That sounded extremely close. For some reason. It was, oh! No! Huh? Oh shit, I have no healing. Ooh, my FPS. This area is not good. Was that a boost? I don't feel the boost. I'm not sure if I'm not executing it correctly or what the fuck is going on. You're already at max? Without doing the boost? Interesting. What the actual fuck? Why does it sound like fucking next to my ear? I see him. They're waiting for us. No, it's above as well. It's a 2-ways. 3-player, only 3 slot and 1 match. Oh, for that one. No, I was talking about the speed. The jumping. I don't feel it. Ow. I'm kind of leaning towards Apex right now, not gonna lie. Ooh, my throat is dry as fuck, man. I was really planning to do something else today, but need a distraction. Bum 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 bum. Is this a duo or a trio? What the fuck? Why is my third guy always disconnected? Nani the fuck, chat? Nani the fuck? Is it always like this? Free buttercorn? Huh? What do you mean? What? Buttercorn? They see it's red? Okay, shut the fuck up. I'm learning Muse, okay? I never used Muse before. Just Gara told me I should learn Muse. Because it fits my YOLO playstyle more. With the blink and heal. Oh, you got a free food at work? A buttercorn? Oh shit, man. That's good shit, dude. I do love me some buttercorn. Those are delicious. I'm coming to you, don't die. Oh, dude, you're alone, man. I'm coming, I'm coming. Ping, ping, ping. Alright, never mind. Heal up. Alright, this dude is... Where's this? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal his kill. Heal up, heal up. Come here, come here. Does that help? That actually helps. I didn't know. I didn't know you can heal teammates. That's actually kind of nice. Gee. Rat, what? I thought the other guy's gotta come for us, so I just gotta fucking finish him. What? Who? Oh, you fucker. Come here! They already have their own Discord now. Actually, I thought they had more. I'm not sure. Not more. They had that for a while, but maybe they just reintroduced it recently. Just give me good shit. I don't know about this. Maybe I'll give it a second chance. Last time this shit fucking sucks. The 9-barrel. I don't know. The pacing of the gun is very fucking weird. Come in. It's kind of awkward. There's 2 of them. Oh my god. He's down as well. Gotcha. This game is a fucking shit show. Playing this game with random's really hard because everyone YOLO as fuck. Like no one's playing it safe. Nine barrels good. Still don't know how to use it though. Not too sure. Okay, this is actually a joke now. Oh, it's a Muse player, right? Choo. $39 shop outfit, yeah. Dude plays. Where? Who? How? What? Who even saw? Oh, what? Okay, whatever, man. Well, come at me right now. Hello. Huh? Oh, is that it? Oh, okay, I figured it out now. So the indication of the successful jump boost. Oh god. The indication for a successful jump boost is the fucking. It's the fucking second jump thing. Well done. What? Thank you. No way I missed that. Oh no, I'm dead. It's the second team. Third party. I could have got that second kill though. I didn't miss. What's up, Saints? Thank you. Alright, you go, I'll lead the way, yeah. Hey, what's up, Jigs? How you doing? Just give me rifle. Come on, brother! You shithead! Alright, I'll take that. God, I need some armor. Just woke up. Good morning, good morning. Hope you had a good sleep. Oh, you wanted that as well? Shit, my bad. Missing resonance slot. How do you do that? How do you get more resonance slot? Sure. Oh, hello. Aha! Thank you. This guy actually hears me? Unless I have an open mic. Hopefully I don't have an open mic. That would be awkward. Let me know if you want to play anything, Jigs. I'm actually in a I don't know what to play moment right now. Yeah, let's go. Take it. Rooftop. I'm healing. No, on me. That LMG is fucking OP sometimes. Good shit. Oh, he's dead. Nice try. Unless... Oh, I just refilled himself. Let's try. I'm always in that moment? Okay, fair enough. So you should have downloaded this game, man. You can play. I honestly don't know what else to play right now. I was actually just planning to chill and lay down and rest of my body, but at the same time I'm so fucking bored. I need to distract my mind as well. So here we are, streaming with no idea what to play. Never. Fuck you. PS fanboys are celebrating Starfield's delay. I mean, thank you. I'm also glad we're not getting a rush game. Okay, I don't know, but no one's really celebrating, man. I mean, who? PS fanboys is a nobody. I'm pretty sure. Like, you know, no one really bats an eye on the fanboys. They're kind of invisible in the community. I'm gonna be honest. Which is, you know, good. Ooh, that is not a good spot. Oh no. Gimme list of games, Jix. Not nobodies, they got a lot of traffic on Twitter. Well, you should start unfollowing related peeps, because I never really see them. Then again, I don't really use Twitter for gaming stuff. I don't really bat an eye on those. Gaming, I usually just rely on YouTube. Twitter, I just use it literally to look at arts or references. Fitta helvete. Crossbow, of course. Where's the other guy?
OSU.
OSU. Dave! Hello. Been a while. How you doing? Also, no. I'm sorry. I'll play OSU, man. I'm really bad at that game, man. I'm just gonna hang out with my friends. I don't really have a good gun right now. CS? I don't mind actually playing CS, but do you mind playing CS with me? With the ping? You know? I'm just kind of bored right now, so I'm down to play whatever. I just realized this is not taken. What the fuck? A pumpy? Fine. Shotgun, crossbow. Bro, pick up the proper weapon. Where are they? Oh, I got it. Wait, what? Okay. Alright. Huh? Okay, dude, this place is a fucking trap. Gigantic trap house. My god. Free food. I don't care. Okay. A bit, yeah. I'm down, I'm down. I haven't played CSGO for a while. Why not? Could be cool. Could be fun. Oh, never mind. Never mind. False alarm. Come in. Played a lot of Valo? Nice. Good taste, good taste. See, Jix? That's a real gamer. Right there. What is he saying? I cannot hear anyone.
Hello, hello?
Yeah, what? I don't know. I think they're not speaking English. I'm not sure. I can barely hear them. You're so fucking... Trap house sounds like your house. That's true. Mine's a little bit different though. Like the trap house here is that every corner you see a poster of a trap. So it's like a, you know, it's like a jump scare, but like whoa, whoa. Oh shit! I remember my friend make that joke. It's like, what the fuck? Why your Discord name is Trap House, dude? It's like, I don't know. It's like, you know, raddtrap. It's just like Trap House, you know, my house. It just so it's like your house is filled with a bunch of poster of traps. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, good one. What is this mirror edge looking thing? It's not really mirror's edge. Imagine Fortnite, but everyone can fucking jump and parkour like crazy. That's basically this game. Mirror's edge, more like mirror's bed. Okay, fucker. Shut the fuck up. Alright, make sure your CS updated. I'm gonna switch to CS in a bit. There's no one here. Where are we going here? The fuck? Whoa, whoa, wow, whoa. Hey, boy! Come in!
Okay, okay, okay.
Oh yeah, they do not speak English. He's dead. Satch. What the fuck? Oh, the
No,
bounce.
no, 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 no. Come here, come here.
Okay, okay, coming. Alright, too late. I'm dead. You're good, Yeah, oh god. Just revive me as well. wait, I'm being eaten.
No problem, no problem, no problem.
No problem. Okay, I'm dead. No problem. What a nice guy. Thank you.
Wait, here. Hurt people.
Yeah, looking for a weapon. Oh, you shithead. Yeah, this place is looted as fuck. Oh, never mind. Can I do the jump boost with the fists, Mary? Or does it have to be a weapon?
Come here.
Come in. Oh no, you can. Never mind. Where's the entrance? Damn it. That's quick. How the fuck do you go in there?
That's cool.
Oh, okay.
牛逼不 ？That's 牛逼。
I have no idea what is he saying, and I don't want to offend him by. I'm just gonna like. No, I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna follow whatever he's doing. I'm just gonna follow you. I'll follow. You want to play CS over Valorant? Oh, up to you. Oh shit. Do you want to play Valorant?
3 people.
I would be surprised if you do. Down. Okay, this dude's fucks. This dude fucks, man. God damn. Alright, chill.
Here.
Oh no. I'm coming to you. Oh, Nightboy keeps throwing. What a dumbass. I'm kidding. No toxic, Chad, no toxic. Oh shit. What? I'm dead. Oh my god. How are we keep getting away with this? Oh no. Oh no, I'm actually gonna die! What the fuck? Come on. 2v1. I misclick again. I need to rebind my skills. Keep pressing E. Now let's play the game of where the fuck is he? Alright, GG. Alright, you do the thingy. Now come on, don't be toxic. You want me to finish him?
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay. GG. Ah. See? Cooperation is all we need. Despite the language limitation, he tries to communicate. If he don't say a single word there throughout the game, we probably would die already. Communication, chat. I don't give a shit if your English broken. If you say here come, I understand that shit, man. Man, feels so good. Gaming. Said who for from team? Well, yeah, that's, I'm a fucking rusher in Battle Royale. I will always be a little bit further. Wait, what was his name? By the way, how do I do the perks thingy? Customization? Oh, perk. Start with extra ammo capacity. Start 2 phlegmatic blood resonance. What is phlegmatic again? I forgot. I like how they don't describe what phlegmatic is. Alright, either way, I'm done with this. Let's play some CS? Wait, can we even play Valorant together? We cannot, Jigs. Region log, remember? No? Here's the cooldown of your skills. Ah, okay. That was good then. I have Southeast Asia account? Okay. Dave, you want to come as well? Since you also said you also... since you said you also play Valorant. Let me see what my friends do. They are... oh, they're just chilling. The fuck? No. What does that say? EOFE, your life is over? The fuck is this?
Bringing your ideas and innovations
Shut the fuck up!
means solving a lot of problems. Flash kids.
Oh, flash kits. I keep forgetting to sub to this guy. There we go.
Are you okay?
I can hear them, Minnie. Scratching at the walls. Scratching at my sanity. Shh. You hear that?
Oh, Mickey. You're sick.
So much to do. I'm not ready. They'll take it from me. I haven't gotten to make my theme park on Mars yet.
This isn't healthy. You just stay cooped up in here all day. When was the last time you used the wheel?
When was the last time you used the wheel, you fat bitch?
Whoa!
I'm pregnant.
So am I. Pregnant with ideas and potential. They can't have it. How long now?
Any day now! You know this!
You said we had months! You said that just yesterday!
Please, Mickey!
How is it you're always pregnant? You've
What?
been pregnant for years now!
Why don't we ask the doctor? Do you want to go see the doctor with me?
God, I'm hungry. Is dinner soon?
I can't cook dinner right now. I'm very bloated and I need to pee all the time.
You deprive me of nutrients, yet happily throw yours down the toilet? We can't be so reckless with our resources.
Oh my god.
Is dinner soon?
Mickey, I just told you!
How will I have time to capture the hearts and minds of all 1 billion Han Chinese if I have to also make my own dinner? Are you gonna Photoshop out all the black people on the Fucho John Lin Meng Wu poster?
Oh my god.
Let's give it some of my something crazy! It's coming from your birth canal. It wants to get out.
Whoa, okay. Dude, Flash gets always all the fucking... Flash gets always pushing it to the limit.
How many have you put in the walls, Minnie? How many have you hidden from me?
This is insane! You can't do that!
Can't? Can't? I tricked 30 million racist Chinamen into watching a movie about a black guy in a cat costume. I can do whatever I want!
Brothers!
Oh, Jesus.
Time
Fuck.
to take a journey to the promised land! That's right, a second channel!
Okay, alright. Good video. It's pretty, you know, pretty, true to the fucking, Disney thingy. Alright. My thingy thing is, raddtrap 6019. Dave. Ah, look at this level 2. I haven't unlocked Fate. I'm halfway, almost there. Too bad this game is region locked. Kind of shame. No, you do not. I mean, you gotta be level 20. Wait, ineligible? Oh, it's rank. This is level. Okay, we'll do unrated. Tokyo server? I don't think I have access to that. Oh, never mind. I have. Let's just do. Are you not good at Singapore? How much do you have in Tokyo? Oh. Okay. Cool. 100 ms Monka Giga. I'm gonna take a while though. In Tokyo, this is like 4 a.m. in the morning. If I'm not wrong. Alright, we got our win in Vampire. Now let's get our win in Valorant. Aight. Oh shit, what? It's a whatever skin. Damn, we rarely play Valorant. This is, for anyone who's watching, this is gonna be like once in a few years stream where I actually play Valorant. Enjoy. I don't really play this game that much. On stream, I mean.
Match found.
Oh no, first game fracture? Really, dude? We are fucked. This is not good. Haha. Alright, let's choose a more chill song for Valorant. Ah, yeah, yeah.
Choose your agent.
Hey! Oh shit! I was alt tab. Sorry. I didn't realize. No, Jix, why you brimstone? Okay, it's okay. Dave pick. Okay. Yeah, this is a very generous team. 2 controllers, 1 support. 2 controllers, 2 support. Only 1 duelist. Such a very interesting queue here. I don't have any characters. What is your main agents in this game?
Sage, if I die out there, you're in charge. Someone has to look out for these knuckleheads.
Also, what's your main, Dave? I'm a one-trick Omen, so I will play Omen, or if Omen's not able to pick. Bum, 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 bum. Why do I feel like my FPS is not going... Oh. The step on A?
Shadows traveling.
A fiber setup. At least 3A. Oh shit.
Everyone's here.
Cover going
Oh, they're in?
Spike planted.
Shadows traveling.
Ended.
Fuck. I don't have smoke. Diffuse, diffuse. Smoke timing.
Taken out.
That's awkward. And T. But anyway, Jix, Dave, you guys wanna join the call? In case confusion with my stream?
Let's leave whatever happened in the past.
I mean, Jix can just jump in as a mod. If you guys want to join in, do join so. I'm saving it.
Cover going out.
A again. Fuck me, the timing.
Enemy spotted A. Here.
Down and out.
Reloading.
Spike planted.
This one's not jamming.
Reloading.
Enemy spotted A.
Sit still.
Last player standing.
That's right.
Shame their breach is against us. I really need a gym buddy.
Ha! Okay. Dude, the 100 ping is actually kind of weird. Kind of makes me jumps in and out.
I will rip the light from them.
You want to play? Let's play.
Hey, again? Oh, never mind. Is it B?
There's just one B so far.
Footstep A. 2, 3. A.
Shadows traveling. Stay in sight.
Oh my god, that was risky.
My god, my gun won't stop shooting.
Cover going out.
Coming up B.
Spike down B. 30
A
seconds
rotating. They're going B. Doo -doo -doo -doo.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reloading.
And playing Valorant with OBS do eat some FPS. Ew, what is this skin? Shut the fuck up! This is the first skin that I bought. It's OG. You can never find it anymore. Spoken B?
Shadows traveling.
Dave!
Enemy down.
Dave AFK? Oh shit. You guys got it. Oh, what the fuck? Is kinda AFK. I'm just gonna chill here. I'm actually aiming for the recon skin, but it's still not showing up on my store. Recon Phantom. I really want that.
Cover going out.
Welcome to my world.
Spike planted.
No.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
Woo! Let's go.
Shameful performance.
What's your skin, huh, Jen? What's your skin, huh?
Once more into battle. I'm not tired. Are you?
Oh my god, dude. How can you say 150 is doable? Was looking for a working headphone? Oh my god. Let me know if you want to join the Discord. You can join the off stream, and me or Jix can drag you up. Minima? I was actually considering getting Minima, but I think I'd rather get Recon. Smoking. 1A. They're splitting.
Off your feet!
You should run. Spike planted.
I am solo. Oh, the ice wall. Well, shit, this is awkward. No, there was someone in there! Ah! He didn't do shit. Okay, I was distracting. Plan works. Good job, team.
Defuse the spike. Jeez, mate. Don't even start that shit here, mate.
Pay attention. I learned something.
Ah, shit. Do I dare to snipe with this ping? So we'll give it a try. It's gonna use in game. Okay. A2.
Cover going out.
You shithead. Are you? Okay, this is the ping. It's the ping. It's the ping. No. I killed that on land. I killed that on land.
Jet's grounded.
What the
Oh my god.
fuck? Bro. This is so fucking weird.
That they're on site.
We won't lose.
Gotta try again later. Yeah, let's try our luck again. It's King Chad, I swear.
Fight!
Might be A.
I hit him. No. It's not a headshot. Jad tag 100. I got headshotted twice. Holy shit, these guys are not.
Grenade!
Stim beacon down.
No. I think he panicked.
Sorry, kid.
The rest is inside.
Spike planted.
Oh, unlucky. Fucking peak advantage.
Paint? Check. Charges? Check. Brakes?
Why the fuck do you have 14 kills? Excuse me? Huh?
Keep running into my crosshair.
Okay, dude.
You want to play? Let's play.
Oh, bro, I cannot with this. This actually fucking sucks. What the fuck? It's A again, it's A again. I cannot do my headshotty thingy, man.
No charges. Shadows traveling.
They might be going back.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. Spike planted.
Man.
Open up the sky.
Well, I am not taking that fight. Only 2 there, 1 in A.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, just he's outside. Ooh! What? Okay, you're not lagging, motherfucker. What the fuck are these shots? Hello? What the fuck? 200 ping headshots, Sheriff? Hello? Jesus.
If one link breaks, the rest will follow.
Way too bad. Dave, you can request. Dave, you can okay. These build different, man. Holy shit, bro. Close my browser real quick. A step. 2, 3. They might come back. Go back. Why did I fight that?
One enemy remaining. Team A.
Good shit.
Spike spotted A.
Think they know pain.
Sheesh.
I can't begin to comprehend it.
Okay, let me try this again. Reach really annoying in this fucking map as well. You do the fucking stun thingy, it's no way to escape.
Get out of my way.
Maybe B. I'm so fucking done. Fitta helvete, jävla. They're in. In A.
Hawk out.
One guy got a sniper.
Spike planted.
Pings.
Here.
Oh, you can, yeah.
One enemy remaining.
Good shit. Nice attempt. And we got a kill.
Look for my shadows, they will hide you.
have 2 window capture and gem. No step on A, Kirby.
Cover going out.
You just gotta smoke just in case. I'm rotating, Dave.
Welcome to my world.
Enemy spotted B.
Spike planted.
Shadows traveling. Blinding.
Healing over here.
Oh my god, of course they got that. I forgot. How is he alive? How is he alive? No. What the
Last round.
How did
in
the breach
half.
also miss? What the fuck? Oh my fucking god.
I need this.
It's an interesting game. Sky drop.
Thank you.
Thank you. A step.
Cover going out. Off your feet!
They rotate, rotating. BBB. Nice.
Shadows traveling.
I'm flanking. Bomb on me.
Spike down A.
Ooh, that's not good. Shiba, they push hard.
30 seconds left.
2 at me. One more.
Spike down A. Enemy remaining.
Good shit. Teamwork.
Switching sides.
I may have danced my fingers. Multiple fingers.
Little. I do feel like in this game compared to CSGO, higher ping is still a little bit more tolerable for some reason. Although I'm not sure why. Like it's still playable compared to CS. They're not peeking. Oh, okay. Like they're patient. Oh my god! What a fucking beast! 2 getting in.
1 enemy remaining.
Not there. Oh, it's an A. Easy. Can say that when I had 300. I honestly don't understand how some people can play any game, competitive game, above 200 ping. 150 is already fucking sucks, man. Anything above 200 is actually playing CSGO with time bomb kind of shit. Like, sometimes you just don't know if your bullet's gonna hit or not. Like, the RNG is annoying. She went back, what a bitch.
Enemy spotted. Plant the spike.
Good shit.
Here.
Silence.
Whoa, what?
Shadows.
One enemy remaining.
Here.
Heaven. Or whatever the fuck it's called.
Hawk out.
Yeah.
Enemy spotted B. That's done.
Is this called again? Tower. There we go.
No one beats my
If you have high ping, you need...
Anybody call that?
Huh?
I've heard anybody call that tower before.
Yeah, I know. If you have ping, you need to rush, you have opportunity, but if you wait in corner, you die. Yeah, basically. You need to move first with higher ping. Element of surprise.
I'll silence their breach.
Oh, I should have bought a weapon. I'm gonna get rid of the thing first.